Hey, it's your Wisconsin Wine Guy, and I'm back again with another wine review. And you just gaze at this label here, and while I tell you about what I'm doing here. So, I review what I like to call everyday drinking wines. Here's what I mean by that. These are wines that have good value. I try to select those for you to give you a road map. So you want to keep walking up and down the wine aisle and looking at labels and reading labels. You just, type in Wisconsin Wine Guy or type in Wisconsin Wine Guy, the name of the wine, and maybe I reviewed it already. So in doing so, again, with these everyday drinking wines, I like to give you my opinion, what I think about these wines. I've been doing this since 2018. So I got a lot of wine that I've reviewed for you. So these are wines, again, that I like to call everyday wines. I do this and review them and grade them with the infamous thumb rating system. Thumbs up says, I recommend that wine. It's a pretty solid wine. You can't go wrong with it. Good value. 3/4. I had this wine at a party, and I just simply must share it with my friends. And I keep a few bottles on hand, to share with my friends when they come to the house. Halfway says, you know what? Ooh, something about that wine just did not work with my palate. You get it? My palate. What do I say to you? Let your palate be the guide. But it didn't work for my palate. Doesn't make it a bad wine, but I'll tell you why it didn't work for my palate. But you give it a taste, and then let myself and the rest of us know what you think. Thumbs down. I'm not going to even talk on that. We already know what thumbs down is, right? And every now and then there is the infamous double thumbs up. Double thumbs up says, you know what? That wine is pretty solid. That wine is a wine that not only would I enjoy drinking it, I would not be ashamed to share this with my friends. Also, I would keep a few bottles of that wine on hand to age, just to see what's going to happen over the course of the years, maybe 5-6 bottles. See what happens over the course of the years, starting from that current vintage. Often what happens, you get to that last bottle and you go beyond the time span that you wanted to do. But that happens. So now, to today's show, Intrinsic wine, out of Columbia Valley, Washington State. Now, this is a wine that's made by the head winemaker from Columbia Crest. And I'm going to read the back of this label here. First of all, the art, so it's like graffiti and art, doing something different, stepping outside of the norm, creating something different, but I was reading the back of this, so I wanted to talk about that. But let me tell you first, it's a 2021 vintage Sauvignon Blanc, 13% alcohol. You can find this anywhere on sale for $9.99 regular retail to $20.22. And you may know the Intrinsic Cabernet. You may recognize that label. It has this nice blue, gray graffiti art label. I think there's a picture of a lady in there somewhere, but you may recognize that label. But here's the Sauvignon Blanc. But I was reading the back of this bottle, and I wanted to read that to you, how it describes the wine. So, 2021 Sauvignon Blanc, Columbia Valley. Street art and winemaking, an unexpected pairing. Limited skin contact fused with stainless steel, concrete, and light oak fermentation. What? So it's fermented in stainless steel and concrete, all right? And it has a little bit of oak contact. Produced an intense, bright, and fresh wine inspired by this process. Graffiti artist Tuke expresses the textures of our steel, concrete, and wood casks in his wild styled manner. I mean, it's a beautiful, beautiful label for sure for the Sauvignon Blanc, I mean, just the label alone, check it out. But we're interested in what's in the bottle. And the label, sometimes you shop by labels like, wow, that's pretty cool, let me check this out. But the label is one part that catches your eye when you walking down the aisle. But what's in the bottle is what counts most. So again, 2021 vintage Sauvignon Blanc out of Washington State. Alcohol comes at 13%. It is a screw cap. Now, just like my Hades Corkers, when I screwed this with, so it's keeping the wine fresh. So this is going to be interesting. So I'll pour this out of the refrigerator, nicely chilled, because I want to make sure you have the chill. Let's put this right here. Let's bring this close so you can see it. All right. So now, it's over here a little bit. So the Sauvignon Blanc. You have those hues of yellow, and there's some clear, to yellow highlights here. The Sauvignon Blanc. Again, I'm curious about, because when you hear, fermented in oak a little bit, you start thinking Fumé Blanc. In California, made Sauvignon Blancs, kind of very interesting, by aging the Sauvignon Blanc in oak. Hence, you got Fumé Blanc, Robert Mondavi, all right, and there's a few others that do the same thing. So this would be interesting, how much influence of the oak is in this wine compared to, again, like that Robert Mondavi, Fumé Blanc, okay? Versus how much of it is just true, give you the much true essence or expression of a Sauvignon Blanc. So here we go. Two-step process again. Acidity is always first. No acidity, no play. On that second taste, that's when we begin to really just dig into the guts of the wine. All right, here we go. Nose. Ooh. I mean, grapefruit. It's something. When you think about the nose on a Sauvignon Blanc, grapefruit is there, but depending on where that Sauvignon Blanc is from, grapefruit that's domestically produced, a Sauvignon Blanc that's domestically produced and you smell the grapefruit is kind of like soft. Sauvignon Blancs, even in like Spain, or maybe Chile, it'd be kind of like soft or maybe more fruity. But Sauvignon Blancs coming out of New Zealand, for example, it's going to be like, woof, grapefruit, unmistakably grapefruit. That's what this is. But it's not from New Zealand. Unmistakably grapefruit. Oh my gosh. that's pretty good. But then it begins to unfold and roll into something else here. Ooh, I don't know if it's the subtleness of the oak influence, but you don't smell the oak, but it has like a it goes from oak to a fruit, but more softer, more savory nose in the background. Wow. Let's get straight to the taste. Here we go. All right. Acidity's there. I get some tannins, but the acidity is definitely there. Make the mouth water. All right. So that's hands down. So nice acidity. I would say here's New Zealand. Here's this one. Okay, that's pretty close. So normally it's like this, but this is like pretty darn close. Now let's taste it. On the taste itself, grapefruit, you have a nice little richness to it, nice little fullness, roundness to the wine. Wow. So it doesn't let go of its domestic roots, with those fruit qualities. More like a stone. What do they say here? Peat? I'm gonna go with white peat or some kind of stone fruit here. What did they say? Blah, 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 blah. They did say. Wow. I thought it said on here. But I'm going to go with a white peach. Blended with the grapefruit. But it has a nice fullness to it. As far as encompassing of its flavor. But it's funny, that initial taste though, you're like, wow. It gives you that New Zealand taste, but then it kind of mellows out, on the palate, with a better expression. So it has the intensity. It has that grapefruit feel all the way through, but then it's like, I'm going to embrace you. I'm going to hug you, with some savory, fullness. And that's what it's doing to me. Okay. That's a heck of an expression you just did, Laura Shelby, but that's pretty good. All right, so let's get to it. That was interesting. What was that? It just keeps evolving into something. I almost want to go a little bit of coconut, a little more tropical. Wow, maybe that's me. But it just keeps evolving as I taste. So, let's get to it. The Intrinsic Sauvignon Blanc, and some of you may have had the Cabernet or even the red blend, but the Intrinsic Sauvignon Blanc 2021, the Wisconsin wine guy is going to give this one I'm going to give it a double thumbs up. I like it because I feel like I get the best of both worlds. I feel like I get a little bit of New Zealand, but at the same time, I get that domestic roundness and fruitiness to it. When I say fruity, I'm not talking fruity sweet, but just this nice fruit presence, nice supple, savory presence too. I like whatever that little thing that they did with the oak fermentation. I think it just really just binds this together. So double thumbs up here. Give it a try. Let me know what you think. I'm going to grab a couple more bottles. This is 2021, so it's already 3 years old. I'm going to grab a couple of more bottles and, set it to the side and see what happens. So, it's your Wisconsin wine guy saying to you as always, let your palate be the guide when selecting your wine. And I'll see you next time. Ciao!